There is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world, and that's why I am on the trail of the Nephilim. Genesis 6 narrative states that the Nephilim are on the earth in those days and also afterwards. If that's true, can we find evidence that corroborates this? I'm L.A. Marzulli. Join me as we go on the trail of the Nephilim. Hey, folks, I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. Thanks for tuning in. This came in from a gentleman by the name of Mark. I think you'll find it interesting. It's an episode of On the Trail of a Nephilim. There definitely is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world, and we'll get into that. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. In a world of economic uncertainty, safeguarding your retirement savings is more important than ever. Gold is a trusted store of value, providing stability for centuries. Through countless market cycles, with a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments, you can protect your financial future with the enduring power of precious metals. Don't let election volatility erode your hard-earned nest egg. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024 and get up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account. Noble Gold Investments, your partner in financial peace of mind in 2024. Folks, go to noblegoldinvestments.com, noblegoldinvestments.com. We invested in it, and I got to tell you, I'm really glad we did. This is really interesting, and I think it'll pique your interest, but let's get into it. This is from Mark. Hello, LA. I just found your TikTok channel. Thank you, Rachel, for helping us with that. And you mentioned your email address. I met you at a conference in Branson, Missouri, back in 2018, and asked you about sleep paralysis and have a brief but interesting discussion. I appreciate your work and use your Watchers series as a tool to witness to people here in the area around me. Let me just stop right there. We published Vicki Joy Anderson's book on sleep paralysis. It is the go-to book. As far as I'm concerned, it's the only book, Christian book that you can get that has supernatural answers to a supernatural problem. And we're proud to be publishing that book. You can go to lamarzulli.com and order a copy. It'll blow your mind. And thank you, Vicki, for being bold to write it. So let's continue. In January of this year, my wife and I took a trip to Las Vegas. She wanted to see it, and I did too. Neither of us are gamblers, but wanted to see the surrounding areas. Taking a trip into Utah to Zion National Park, and then going over into Arizona and seeing the Grand Canyon. We stayed at the Holiday Inn Express on 64. Just outside the park entrance. We went into the park several times and sat through a presentation at the Grand Canyon IMAX Theater that showed the alleged history and formation of the Grand Canyon and Native Americans that live there. One evening, I went to the front desk to get water, and when I walked in there was a middle-aged Native American woman there. She called herself Lou, maybe short for Louise, and a much younger woman from Brazil on duty. I asked about the water and asked the middle-aged woman if it was okay that I asked her some questions. I first asked if she was Native American, and she replied yes, that she was Navajo. I made mention that I watched the presentation on the Grand Canyon, and that during the presentation it was said that Native Americans moved up into the sides of the canyon because of the flooding. And that was what I expected it to say. But then I said, it is my understanding that the people moved up into the sides of the canyon for a different reason, because giants were eating the people. She said, yes, it's true. We call them, and I am sure I will get the spelling wrong, so I will spell it the way she pronounced it, Yaibishe. She described these people, or whatever they were, as having red hair and 6 fingers and toes. She said when her children misbehave that she tells them she is going to give them to Yaibishe if they don't straighten up. She also said that they were coming back one day. I thanked her for speaking with me and asked her if it was okay, because I know that Native Americans usually don't talk about these things like this with outsiders. She said it is okay to talk about them because it is winter, but if it was spring or summer, they could not talk about them because that was the time of year when the Yaibishe would hunt them. The young woman from Brazil was shocked, I think, and she said she had never heard that before. Just thought I would pass that along. It was really quite interesting. I had been telling my wife about giants for a while. She is from the Philippines. And when I told her the story, it was like confirmation about all the things I had been saying. I have not heard of a giant in the Philippines, but would not be surprised since there are apparently giants in the Solomon Islands. We spoke to a gentleman. It's on one of our YouTube channels from a long time ago, probably a couple of years back, where he was high up in one of the oil refineries looking for oil, and he was out there with a former cannibal. I'll tell you the story. Former cannibal out there in the Solomon Islands. And they go to this one island that he wants to test and look for oil. And this former cannibal is telling him, yeah, there were giants here, and my people would hide up in the trees waiting for the giant to come down the path. And when the giant would come down the path, we would jump out of the trees and kill the giant, and that giant would feed the people for a week or two. I'm not making this stuff up. It's in one of our YouTube videos. I don't know whether you can even find it because we do these, this is probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I think I said 2 or 3. It's older than that. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even older. I don't know. You might want to Google on our channel, Giants of Solomon. But what I'm trying to get at here, the CT Ka, when you go to Sarah Winnemucca, she talks about the 6-fingered red-haired giants. That's the whole thing with Lovelock Cave. This is true. And yet, it's amazing how modern-day archaeologists refuse to acknowledge the oral tradition from Native Americans. We've got Sarah Winnemucca talking about it, and that's the Paiute tribe. We've got the Navajo talking about it, the Hopi talking about it. Look, they were here. We got Chief Joseph talking about it. Apparently, there's a birch bark scroll that the Allegheny tribe still have that talk about this liaison that they made with another tribe to go up against the race of giants. I mean, we've got Judaculla Rock. It's all around us. Then we've got the mounds. We are coming up with a film. We did this. We recorded this. Fritz Zimmerman, all sorts of people are in it. We are in post-production. It's the next film after Holy Fire, Shroud of Turin, which I'm working on now. I hope to get that out by the end of the year, and I think we will. We probably have 2 films. What we discovered is mind-blowing about the mountains, specifically the Newark earthworks. More about that in the days to come. But, we hear this oral tradition, and it's time to look at the oral tradition. Not what L.A. Marzulli says, but for just like this person wrote in, for Native Americans who are telling us something that was here before the white man came. Anyway, folks, that's all the time I have for. We have a special going on our book, Rungs of Disclosure, the number 14th book I've written, maybe the most important book I've ever penned. You can check that out, lamarzulli.net. It's right up there on the front page. We are offering $5 off and an autographed copy. Please, this is important. You need to tell your loved ones about this. Get one for you and your family. Watch it. Give one to your best friend. And give one to your pastor, and encourage your pastor to read it because he needs to understand what is going on. Folks, UFOs are real, burgeoning, not going away. We teamed up with Leadership Books. I did a 15-course study. It's a study guide. It's all video, but there'll also be study notes with this. It'll go along with the book. More about that in the days ahead, how you can sign up for that. And we ask that you would sign up for that. We are excited about our partnership with Charisma and Leadership Books. This is the most important book I've ever written to date, in my opinion, because it's a warning to the church. Something is coming. Something unprecedented is coming. It is the coming Great Deception. That's it. Hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll be seeing you again very shortly with another update, UFO update perhaps, over in another side of the studio here, where we'll be showing the Krumbergaz UFO footage once again. I think you'll find it interesting. Thanks so much for watching. God bless you, folks. Keep us in prayer. The battle is real, and the enemy never sleeps. Hey, folks, L.A. Marzulli here. I've got book number 14 coming out. It's being published by Charisma Media. It's called Rungs of Disclosure. Let me whet your appetite. What is it, 77 years ago, something happened in Roswell, New Mexico? Was it really a weather balloon, or was it something else? Folks, one of the very first chapters in that book delves into the whole Roswell event. What I think happened there was a cover-up, and it began the deliberate obfuscation that continued until 2017. And Tucker Carlson asked Commander David Fravor, in your opinion, what was this tic-tac-shaped UFO that you saw? Commander David Fravor looks right at the camera and says, whatever this was not from this earth. That's the nexus. That's the beginning of the Rungs of Disclosure book. I think it's the most important book I've ever penned. Go to lamarzulli.com, lamarzulli.com. You can pre-order the book, save $5, and that book will be autographed by yours truly. Don't forget, folks, UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. In my opinion, this is the coming great deception that Jesus warns us about.